attainable and more relatable too. I mean, I wasn't too big for men's physique, honestly, but I just, I liked the idea of being able to showcase my whole physique, being able to pose. There's no bodybuilding posing. It's supposed to be more of just a natural, hey, this is what I look like on the beach.
When you're looking at physique, it's just stances, front, side, back. You're just looking at a body. What our job is to do, it's not posing, it's looking good standing. You have to build your aesthetics to a point where you don't have to pose to look good.
A lot of people don't think that you have to practice posing as a men's physique, but you do. Believe it or not, still comes into big play for muscularity, taper, symmetry. And also, if you open bodybuilders hate men's physique so much because
Je l'ai refait.
those guys are just big and freaky, and some people are just intimidated by that kind of muscle and size. But I mean, if you're in the sport, you understand. Like, that's top of the food chain. Quando eu pensei em ser atleta, eu queria ser Miss Físico. Mas quando eu cheguei no meu primeiro treinador, quis ver o meu físico por completo, e aí foi quando ele falou, meu, você não pode deixar escondido esses atletas profissionais, você é um ponto forte do seu físico. Então vai para o sou o Dr. André Santos, fisioterapeuta especialista em quiropraxia, e agora para San Marino, para a estreia dele no Pro, a gente vem trabalhando algumas coisas específicas, como por exemplo o dorsal. O volume do dorsal a gente tem que trabalhar. É essencial na minha preparação, né? Porque a gente leva o nosso corpo ao extremo todos os dias. É o que eu costumo dizer, né? O pessoal que fala que o bodybuilder é um atleta solitário.
Não, não é. Eu acho completamente ao contrário. Sozinho a gente não consegue fazer nada.
Et encore personne.
Sozinho a gente não chega em lugar nenhum.
It's weird because the beginning of me speaking is so loud and like I always wanted to do an Egyptian themed routine. It's always been in my back of my head because I'm like, I'm Egyptian. I have to do that one day. I'm so proud of being Egyptian, and my mom's family is Jewish and my dad is Muslim. So that gives really an awesome dynamic in terms of my family goes.
The most important question, can you sacrifice or everything to get on this level to be better you next time when you compete? Unfortunately, not everyone can sacrifice time with your family,
Là, je casse mon chiot.
sacrifice time with your second half, sacrifice time with your kids. So it's hard, for most of people.
Like I was living, breathing, sleeping bodybuilding since I'm little without knowing that I was doing that. And I'd love to be that person that could, win Miss Olympia a couple of times. I mean, I do have life. Like I can't see myself winning Miss Olympia and then trying to do it another 10 times. My body's just not going to handle it. Not just that, but I want to live a normal life one day. I mean, I've been doing athletics and being a pro athlete my whole life. I'm 25, and even though I'm young, almost 25 years of that, you still yearn for like, I want to be a mom one day.
My kids will always be my number one priority. If anything was ever not okay with them, if they ever did not support what I did, if they needed me and I was not available because I was focused on competing would be put aside, obviously. They are my number one priority. But I'm fortunate. I have two healthy kids. I have happy kids. I'm able to balance being a single mom because I've had years to try to figure it out. I've been able to make it work. They get to do all the activities that they want to do. They're playing major into sports. Every single day we have something going on. But again, it requires me getting up super early in order to get my cardio in. I have to have my schedule dialed.
Personne là.
Generally speaking, an African bodybuilder is much stronger and more endurant simply because of the hardship that a lot of us are coming from. You have a kid who has walked about half of his life. It's just going to be easier for him to do than somebody who for his whole life has not even carried, let's say, a 30-kilo material on his head.
Collins' show is a success, not because of any prizes given, but because it provides a platform to inspire other local athletes as they aim to create their own brand of natural bodybuilding.
Being a natural bodybuilder and getting all this attention, this is what people like me for. They look at my physique as natural as it is and they like it. And that is good inspiration. That is something they can look up to. That's something they can aspire to.
Most of the times when people see you being a bodybuilder, they have the notion that you might be taking steroids or something. But I think you can do bodybuilding with just food. Yeah, you can do it with food and supplement if you can afford.
When you're a pro bodybuilder, every single one is on steroids.
يلا اكتبوا انا
What's my
كنستناكم
right?
جوزات
You know, like best of the best, the millionaires measured.
I've worked with men who will say, if you told me that taking anabolic steroids is going to take 20 years off my life, I would still do it because at least I would be big and muscular in the time I was here.
It's incredible science. So there's hundreds of steroids that have been produced in the world since the 1940s and 30s. They're either for human grade use or animal use. Alcopoise is for horses, dogs, and cats. But these men use all these mixed. They're all mixed.
There's something pathological about that. That's not a healthy way of thinking because at the end, it's not about being muscular.
يلا
It's
اكتبوا
about
شي
being
حاجة.
happy, being confident, being accepted.
The regular dose for a testosterone replacement patient is about 100 milligrams of ester per week. Bodybuilders and strength athletes and strongmen can use upwards of 5 grams a week. 100 to 5,000.
It's risk versus benefit ratio. And I always tell people that if they want
يلا
to
je
have
vous
that
attends
that's up
écrire
to them. But when
اكتبوا
you're
شي
25,
حاجة.
you don't give a shit. You know, when you're 25, you just want to be the best in the world and be Mr. Olympia. So when you get older, I think you start thinking about it more.
Well, when you see bodybuilders die at a young age, like Dallas McCarver, I think it's really, really, really sad. There was a guy who had great potential in being, you know, a great bodybuilder, and you know, his life coming down short for whatever reasons from, you know, whatever he did in bodybuilding. I was worried about my health. You know, I think, you know, my injury that caused me to retire early was probably a blessing in disguise because I would have probably pushed my body, you know, to the limits to try to keep up with the bodybuilders that were like getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Even back then, there wasn't much emphasis on steroids. I know when I got into it, I was more about the training hard, the eating, you know, that sort of thing. Steroids is like I heard about it and I knew it was into sport, but it wasn't so like now you go on any website today, forums, that's all people talk about is drugs,
Incroyable,
steroids.
ils sont
It just
dormir.
drives me mad.
Social media has a lot of benefits and a lot of pitfalls, and one of the pitfalls are it disseminates a lot of unhealthy information
where young people have access to it and now can see some bodybuilder, someone saying, oh, well, if you do this, this, and this, then you could look this big.
Let me put it to you this way. Okay, look, I have a lot of friends in whole different genres of sports. Football, baseball, basketball, and many of them are professional. Golfers use steroids, okay? It's just a thing. It's just, I mean, the kids at the gym just know,
ديما راجع.
just the recreational, you know, Jersey Shore douchebags I see at the gym, they're all juiced up and to the max and
ما كنساوش منين نجيو
everybody
بعدا
does it.
ديما
Everybody
راجع.
does it.
So why they target bodybuilder? Because bodybuilders, they take off their clothes. They are in their shorts or trunks on stage. Obviously the physique is much different than a normal person.
كنتي
So
راجع
people
ويا
don't see
كيبان
hard
فيها.
work and effort that go behind. You can take enhancers, you can take this and that, but at the same time you can't buy the hard work with people put.
With 1 week before the competition in San Marino, Verinder trains with his mentor, Shuru, in their home state of Punjab. There is a certain level of pride in
ايوا
this
مزيان.
and a good performance on a European soil would mean a lot to them.
هي شي حاجة على الراجع، اش كتعرفي على الراجع؟
Good. Yep. San Marino, bro. Come on. Yep.
وهادشي اللي كنشوف كيبان لي انت بوحدك، اخرين ناعسين وقيله كيبان لي.
Also I see he's a vegetarian. When I was competing, me being vegetarian,
عليكم السلام.
responded.
قبل انت كنتي سولتيني على الفطور. هدى مرحبا، نقول لك شنو ديري في الفطور ماشي مشكل. كنتي بغيتي الفطور قبل الريجيم ويعطيك الصحة زعما النهار ديالك، ولا بغيتي غير فطور عادي زعما اللي يخليك زعما يعطيك الرشاقة والنشاقة في النهار ديالك؟ هادشي اللي كيبان لي وقيلا هما ناعسين، نعسو مع الدجاج. قبل ما الدجاج ينعسو هما نعسو بان ليا. ايوا الا بغيتي فطور كيصحح ديري فطور، نعطيك فطور زوين. ديري خدي الشوفان، ديري معاه واحد شويه القرفه، المهم الشوفان ديريه في الماء. ايوا فطور نيت، انا نعطيك فطور ديال الصح. ديري الشوفان ديريه مع الماء، بعد تسلق واحد شويه، وعاد باش ديري فيه شويه القرفه والفواكه ديري فيه اللي بغيتي، البنان، كيوي، فرومبواز، اللي بغيتي نتيا، ولا كاع تخلطيهم بثلاثه كاع تبغيتي ديال الصح باش يصحح. زعما بغيتي شي فطور صحيح، ايوا ديريهم كاع كاملين نتيا. ومن بعد ديري البيض، ديري على حسب اللي شحال تاكل نتيا. المهم انا نقول لك الفطور ديالي كناكل 4 البيضات ولا 5 في الصباح في الفطور. جاية كاع بالمرات كناخد 6، ما يمكن ناخدش فيهم صفرة البيض، كناخد غير البيض ديال البيض وقهوة وعصير صافي. هادشي اللي كناخد، هذا هو الفطور اللي يخليك رشيقة في الصباح. كنسكن في أورليون اختي في فرنسا. انا جاوبتك، كنسكن في أورليون في فرنسا. وياه راه بزاف كاينش غدير، هذا هو الفيتنس. لو بغيتي الفطور، بغيتي تمشي زعما في النهار ديالك تحركي، ولا تحركي راه خصك تاخدي مزيان. الفطور هو اللي صحيح. شرفين اختي، الله يوفقك.
Each body reacts differently to this process.
Adjustments in diet and water intake are done on daily basis, all the way up to the competition.
خطات في
Most
مشيت لينها
bodybuilders
مرة واحدة في
don't
حياتي.
consume any water the day of the show to make their bodies look like an anatomy chart.
بارك الله فيك
Dehydration
أختي.
can break down even the most experienced bodybuilder.
شتي مرة واحدة في حياتي وملي كتصغير 16. كيبان ليا كلشي ناعس كلشي ناعس.
You got to be in great condition. You have to be posed right, and everything has to flow. The symmetry has to be like, where you create that V taper, and you have round muscle bellies, and it's defined, and whoever poses and shows off their strong points and hides their weaknesses against the other guys is usually picked as a winner. We all have our strong points. I mean, I was great at hiding the flaws that I had, and trust me, everyone has some. And it took me a long
صافا
time.
BTS ما قلتيش ليا شنو كيعرفي على الرجاء.
Consistently win.
سولتك وما جاوبتينيش. إلا كنتي باقا بعدا.
Made it in top 2. He now goes toe-to-toe against one of the top men's open bodybuilders in the world. He came close, but being number 2, despite the weight category, will never be enough for the Persian Wolf.
These guys, if they don't win, the membership in the gyms come down. They get blasted by social media. The haters will come out and they'll take away everything they have. So to them, it's life or death for these Iranians. It's everything to them. It's everything to them. It's the passion. It's so strong. That's why they get upset and they go and they cry and they do this and they do that.
There's always going to be controversy.
ايوا مزيان ايوا دابا تنتيا رجاوية. هادي دابا التمرين ديال الرجاء كان عندي بزاف ديال التمرين دابا عندي حتى الدرابو ديال الرجاء تا هو عندي. الرجاء ما نقدرش نساوها. المهم الرجاء شي حاجة في البلاد هي اللي هز الدرابو للبلاد. ولكن كلشي ما كاين اللي ما كيحملهاش كاين اللي ضدها.
He achieved his goal and made the pro debut in the world arena. For Verinder, the
الله
result
يبارك فيك
wasn't as
اختي.
expected. Being a vegetarian puts him at a disadvantage for gaining muscle mass, and he knows it. But he's determined to continue his career and rep his nation around the world.
وصافا بعدا الحمد لله عندي الرجاويين في اللايف. باقي ما جاوش الوداديين كنربلوها حتى هي واحد شويه.
Give him like 6 months or 1 year, you will see a new Vrinder coming up.
A day before the New York Pro, Regan's among the top pros who want to hear an honest and credible opinion about their progress. Because Steve doesn't sugarcoat. His opinions are usually sharp and to the point. However, suddenly Regan has an announcement of his own.
Steve, there's some big news. I'm in classic. Really? Yeah.
I thought he was going to be an amazing open competitor. Big size, great shape, really good conditioning. I thought this is a guy that could be really top Mr. Olympia contender.
شنو كتعرفي على
He
الرجاء
told me that he's doing
إلا
classic
كنتي
physique, and I was pretty much shocked.
معلقة
I
بها
thought he was
بزاف
one of the new big stars. I can't believe he lost that much mass. If you would have told me the day before he's coming in and tell me he's not going to be doing the open and he's going to be doing classic and he's going to win, I would say you're out of your mind. I wouldn't think it was going to happen. It would be dangerous also. Yeah. I just think I think I have a better shot. I agree. Some of these guys, all the like punch them, and they look amazing. But some guys, I just don't aspire to look like that. You know, I don't want to be that big. Like I don't want to be 330 or 320. You know, you're your own person, I guess, and you know you got to bring what you like. You know, so even I mean, if the judges want me at 300, I don't know if I'd even go to 300 because I just it wouldn't be healthy for me. I wouldn't feel good, and B, that's probably not the physique that I want to be like. I think it seems like classic physique is going to be the most popular thing. That's what I see. Because you got to think like there's so many more people who could be on that level of like genetically gifted and work ethic and everything they need to. But there's like the Phil Heath is like the one in like a billion. But anyway, the classic physique turned out to be one of our fastest exploding divisions. I think
يلا شكون جا هو الثاني
it's different, I guess.
ما فهمتش أنا كلشي شتو ناعس في
I know for a fact they train with a professional
هاد الساعة
bodybuilder every single day. We're still all working just as hard.
كيدخلوا ويخرجوا
So sacrifice that every division is going to have to make it. That's definitely easy. If you don't give it 100%, then you won't be successful. There's no easy way out. That's insulting to the classic physique guys. We look at the group of classic physique guys. There's nothing easy about winning a pro show anymore. I mean, these guys are for real. I mean, they train just like the bodybuilders, they're even harder. Classic physique is all about balance to me. Balance and conditioning. To me, it's the Greek statue. You want to showcase the physique. It's not just overall pure mass. When classic physique is balance first.
Classic represents the arts side. It is showing you straight
يلا
up
شكون جا وجاب
classic.
شكون دخل عاوتاني
To watch, but
كتبوا
after
شي
a
حاجة
while, you see the same routines over and over. Reagan's going to be Mr. Olympia men's open at some point. I think he's a one and done guy in this classic contest he's doing now because I know he's going to have trouble bringing the weight down. There's a lot of potential there to be a men's open bodybuilder. And a lot of bodybuilders don't make it in the open class, so they fall down in the classic. Well, guess what? The waist isn't small enough or the lines aren't good enough, and then they're pushed out. In 5 years, watch them come back in the sport of bodybuilding in the men's open side. I know I've worked so hard, like for the competition, that I'm ready. You know, like now it's time to just display what I've worked for. First place finish. Classic. My decision to bring it. But the stakes will only get higher at competition for years. This is now part of the best growing division in the pro league.
тебе надо удар надо дать, ты знаешь.
Я же работаю, сейчас сам не скажу.
Остается только одну часть, вот этот надо дать. Ты ну что говоришь насчет Америки?
Ничего, готовься. Конечно, мотивация в балл. Такой мотивации чемпиона не было. Думаю, поедем.
Ну там другой уровень.
Я, конечно, понимаю, теперь я буду работать в 2 раза больше, в 2 раза сильнее. Потому что
يلا شكون كاين
Это другой уровень.
زكي
Хочу, чтобы я даже представляю, как это будет выглядеть, если ты выиграешь на одном классик. И еще, если ты выиграешь абсолютку, там это ниже будет, там
يلا شكون كاين عاوتاني رجع ناعسين بكري اليوم كيبان ليا
We return to the Arnold Classic in Columbus, Ohio, where every year about 100,000 people gather for the Fitness Expo and the competitions. Everything seems familiar. Crowds of eager fans, cold March winds, and a lot of excitement as the people gather here from all over the world. But for the competitors, there is no time for excitement.
люди первый раз, когда попадут в Америку, у них будут другие взгляды, да, вот, ой, Америка, потому что многие мечтают туда попасть, потому что, говорят, там рай для спортсменов и очень необычная жизнь, если мы сравнивать будем в Узбекистане, да, вот, то есть мы пришли выступать, мы пришли победить. Мы пришли поднять флаг, чтобы про нас знали. Нормально? Как ты себя чувствуешь? Нормально? Выспался? Акклиматизировался?
ياكي encore شكون جا عاوتاني دابا جالسين كتدخلوا وتخرجوا
Все, это уже конечная фаза. Икра должна тоже быть сохраниться хорошо.
نتو ديال ناعسين شتو نعستو ولا
Каждый сечется, все пошло уже, все, сечку молодец. Отлично, давай. Главное это спокойно, не нервничаешь, чтобы не перегореть. Глядишь, еще и про карту получишь.
الحمد لله خويا كي داير لاباس عليك شفت الناس ناعسين اليوم والله عليكم السلام الله يسلمك اخويا ايوا العقوبه لك انت ان شاء الله
It's finally time. This is what they have been working for. Misha and the rest of the amateur bodybuilders get compared during a tedious prejudging round. Meanwhile, Ariel and Whitney go through their prejudging, the physique round.
When I first out, they were looking down. They were like shuffling zebras. There was only a couple of judges that were really looking at me, but yeah, I mean that's like not a great feeling because he worked really hard for this. You know,
خليه واحد
I was
البوز
sure
بلو
they were
خليه
for me, but I think I did the best that I could.
لايكي الفيديو
So I just
في
want to go out there and
اللايف.
compete and try to kill it now.
Men's Physique 2018. Big smiles, small waists. What it's about, boys.
While the first round of women's fitness may only be worth 30%
أرنولد
of their
كلاسيك.
overall score, prejudging for men's physique division is everything. This is the round where athletes get compared and continually narrowed down to the best until top competitors are next to each other, center stage.
But you notice these guys,
5 and 16
you can see
switch.
the ones that really trim their legs through their shorts. Right there, number 16, Brandon Henderson being one of them. Those shorts are tight. The squads are busting through those things. Respect to that. Got to balance that body out.
Emotions run high and stress is always present as the athletes try to inch their way closer to the judges in the attempt to make themselves look bigger and more defined. Everything is on the line with the few minutes they have on this stage.
Andre, move up.
I know myself, I don't focus on people like when I prep. My focus is on beating everyone. So how am I focusing on Brandon? I'm here to beat everyone. I'm focusing on me.
The judges narrow it down to the top 3 physiques and compare them. While they know they've placed well, they have to wait until the award ceremony to see who gets the gold.
من شوية ناعس اليوم والله كاين حتى واحد.
I feel like I'm only competing against myself. I never go into a show saying I have to win or I have to do this, I have to do that. Because at the end of the day, if I do the best that I can do, I can't be any happier with that.
If you want to be at the elite level, you go all in and you give it everything you've got and you attack it every single day. It takes a very specific person to be at the top. If you're not cut out for it, don't get in. The people who are at the top, they don't need to talk about it. They're not complaining about it.
المهم اخوتو غادي نمشي نعس
They're
رانا
working,
عيان
they are grinding, they
بان
are
لي ما
doing
كاين حتى واحد غدا ان
everything
شاء الله
that
نعاودوه
is required and it's
وجيو
necessary to get
كاملين
there.
ان شاء الله.
But people aren't willing
يلا
to do
تهلاو في
that
راسكم.
because it's not easy to be in it. It's not easy